Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today the recipe that I'm going to be sharing with you is how I make chocolate cake with a ganache topping. Before we get on to the ingredients, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Okay guys, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the filling and the ganache. So for the filling, it's real easy. All I use is a pack of instant chocolate pudding. Don't follow the directions on the box, okay? On the box it calls for 2 cups of milk. We are going to use 1 1/4 cups of whole milk. And use the whole milk. It comes out better with the whole milk than with fat-free. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. And just stir this up till it gets thick. And we're going to put it in the refrigerator and we're going to use it a little bit later. Okay, we're going to cover this up with some saran wrap, put it in the refrigerator, and we're going to work on the ganache next. For the ganache, we're going to need 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. You can use the bar chocolate if you don't have the chocolate chips. I just happen to have these all the time. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of corn syrup, and just a little pinch of salt. And I have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream that I've warmed up. We're going to put the chocolate chips in there and we're going to cover this with the milk. Okay. And what does is you just let this sit there. We're going to whisk it in a minute, and it starts to melt all the chips. So you just give it a second, move it around, then you use your whisk, and just go slow here because if you go too fast, you're going to splatter milk all over you. Just break it up, and it takes a little bit of whisking. It's going to look like this at first. It's going to look like, what did I do? But you'll see as you continue to whisk how it starts to come together. Just take your time so you don't burn yourself and make a mess. See how it starts to come together? So you just have to whisk it for a little bit. We're going to put in the vanilla, the salt. The salt just brings out the flavor of the chocolate and the sweetness and the corn syrup. And we're going to beat this after it settles. It starts to thicken up. You can use it right away if you're going to frost a cake with the ganache. You can pour it over the cake and use it just like this. What I like to do is I like to use it like a buttercream frosting, although it's not a buttercream frosting. But you'll see what I mean once I beat it with the mixer later. As this thickens up, you'll see what I'm talking about. We're going to leave this like this. We're going to cover it with saran wrap and just put it aside. See what it looks like? Just a whole bunch of good stuff here. Okay guys, let's get on to the cake. For the cake batter, we are going to need 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cups of cocoa powder of your choice, 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of milk, 2 eggs, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Okay, I'm going to do this on my stand mixer. You can do it with a hand mixer. You could even do it by hand if you like. And I'm going to make 3 of these 9-inch baking pans, okay? We're going to do a layered cake. Okay, let's get to mixing. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in all our dry ingredients. Okay, you're going to add in the flour, the sugar, the cocoa powder, baking soda, baking powder, salt. Okay, and we're going to mix this up first. Let me get this going. I'm going to mix all that up. We got this all mixed up. Now we are going to add the eggs, the vanilla, the oil, milk, and we're going to mix this up first, and then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of boiling water. But first we're going to get this mixed up. Okay, we're going to add the boiling water. Okay, we're going to pour it into the pan. Just try to get them as even as possible. These are going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. You're going to need to check your oven because everybody's is different. So if you insert a toothpick and it comes out clean, that means they're ready. So I'll be back when the cakes are done. Oven, I have them cooling. But in the meantime, we're going to fix the pudding that we fixed at the very beginning. We're going to take the pudding and about a cup and a half of Cool Whip, and we're going to mix this in there. We're going to fold it in there, okay? You don't want to beat it too much because you don't want the whipped cream to really deflate too much. So we're going to put this in here, fold it in here. That's all you need to do right there, just like that. You're still going to see a little bit of the Cool Whip. I don't know if you can see that. I know the lighting's not that great, but we're working on it. Okay, let me get the ganache, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to the ganache before we go. Okay, with the ganache, it's been setting since I've had the cakes in the oven, and it got kind of firm like this. It's not totally solid, but it's firm. It's not runny like it was earlier. And we're going to take our hand beater and we're going to whip this up, okay? And it's going to fluff up. Still not runny enough. Okay. The ganache is going to look like that. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to get the cake. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to get a piping bag with one of these Wilton tips, a number 12. And we're going to put some of the ganache in here. Turntable just to help me out here, and then of course I have the cardboard that we're going to set the cake on. I'm going to get the first layer, and at the bottom I just spread a little bit of chocolate on there just so the cake doesn't slide. Okay, and it still has the parchment paper on it. We just take it off, and I just set it down upside down like that. If your cake came out a little lopsided, that's okay. Mine came out a little lopsided because I put the 3 on one tray and I should have done that. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to pipe a little row of ganache all the way around the edges. Like that. Okay. So all you need is that. And this I can balance it out just with the icing. And then we're going to get the pudding, and the pudding part goes in the middle. Okay? And where the cake is a little lopsided there, I just put a little bit more on that side and that'll even it out. We hide our mistakes. That's what cooking is about sometimes. Take a look at it, make sure it's a little even. Then we get the next layer. Do the same thing. Pop the parchment off. And where it was lower, I'm going to put the thicker side on this one. Push it down just a little bit. Let's make sure none of that falls off. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Repeat the edges. Off. See where the thicker part is. Okay. Push it down. I keep a little brush, pastry brush handy, and I just knock off a little bit of the crumbs, just not to mess up my tray there. I mean, if they fall off a little bit, that's okay, no biggie. What I do to frost the sides, you can get a spatula, a knife, whatever makes it easy for you. And then just go around the sides. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's very crummy cake, so. Okay guys, now that it's all frosted, I cleaned up the edges a little bit. We are going to, you can leave it like that or sprinkle pecans. I love the pecans on this cake. It just takes it to another level. You could even sprinkle some toffee candies, whatever you like. Be creative. This looks better. And then just let this sit. It's good if you put it in the refrigerator for about a half an hour. Let it set up, and this way it makes the slicing easier. And I just push it down just a little bit, just so all the pecans don't fly off. Okay guys, that's what it looks like. I hope you can get a good look at that. Okay, I'm going to put this cake in the refrigerator for about a half an hour, and we'll be back to give it a taste. Guys, that's going to conclude the video. I'm sorry I have to torture you by tasting this cake, but somebody has to do it. Very, very moist. You can taste the layers of the pudding and the ganache and the bread. It's very good. I mean, I've had this cake. This is one of my favorite cakes. So I hope that y'all enjoyed the video, and I hope that y'all give this cake a try. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will get back with you. Okay, guys, we'll see y'all later. Bye.